Dear friends, all of us know about the devastation from the two hurricanes, Helene and Milton, that recently slammed into Florida. We have Free Methodist churches that were severely impacted by these extensive storms, as well as the Light and Life Park camp in Lakeland. Hundreds of homes in that park were inundated with water, and there is an urgent need to clean out these homes and help the residents begin to rebuild. I recently received a phone call from one of our laymen at the Arbor Church sharing with me about the devastation and the great need for work teams to travel to Lakeland and assist these residents, many of whom are retirees on limited incomes. I also received an email from Superintendent Mike McElvoy from the Southeast region sharing that water, sewage, and electricity have been restored and that they are able to host teams now. Those interested can reach out to Pastor Jeff Bellinger directly at his email address or call the number which will be on the screen to coordinate a team. Pastor Jeff wrote about the current need in these words, quote, "It's both really good but very hard. The scope of the damage here is huge. We are barely making a dent in the process. 160 homes need to be emptied of all furniture, carpets, flooring removed, and the walls cut to remove all the wet insulation, plus the insulation from under the homes. All that only gets them to the point where we can determine if they are salvageable for rehab. About 12 year-round residents have lost everything," he said. "Some have even lost their cars. Half of them have nothing else and nowhere to go." He said, "I have 5 people living with us who lost their homes. But on the good side, you can clearly see that the Spirit of God is moving in people's lives. Several are at rock bottom with little to no resources to rebuild, yet they have joy and hope." This week during worship service, people just came to the front of the church praying, praising, and worshiping in the midst of this devastation. So he says, "Thank you for all the prayers and support, and please continue to pray and consider how God is leading you to give and serve." Now, as I examine the photographs which were shared in this email, my heart is broken for the many people who've lost everything, some of them who are full-time residents in the park and some who are from our own conference churches. I'm asking us to make this need known in your church communications, and here are 3 specific ways we can be involved in this extensive recovery process. First, we can pray. Please pray for the ongoing recovery efforts throughout Florida, especially the Light and Life Park in Lakeland. Consider taking a collection for relief efforts. Gerald and I are sending a financial gift this week. The Southeast Region Conference has created an SRC Crisis Relief Fund, which will help them coordinate relief efforts as they come alongside of Free Methodist churches impacted and the churches and ministries that are caring for those impacted. And finally, would you encourage individuals and teams to give some time in the next few weeks to travel to Lakeland and to assist in the recovery efforts? This is kind of a Nehemiah moment where we are all needed to help rebuild these communities with prayer, financial partnership, and physical presence. It's good to belong to the body of Christ. As Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 12:26, "And if one part of the body suffers, all the parts suffer with it." And thank you in advance for anything you can do to bring relief to this region of the country.